most agents think they need more leads. The reality is you might, but a lot of agents actually need better follow-up. Let me dive into why I say this. I've been having a lot of conversations this week. This is something that I've experienced myself as well, of where there's this whole thing of you're working, right? You get busy, you're doing this, you talk to this many people, you do an open house, you're texting people, right? You're answering phone calls, you're jotting down notes over here. And the reality is, a lot of the times we are running full steam and just trying to keep things and juggling these balls and these plates, spinning plates, and right, doing all of this stuff to keep things moving. And the crazy part is, in all of that noise, in all of these opportunities that as agents, sometimes we're dropping, it's a lot of times because we don't have a system or a rhythm that's working in our benefit. And what I want to talk about is how AI can help you do different things in this, but then also what does your structure look like to help you make sure that you're on top of this so that you're not dropping the ball, that you're not dropping those opportunities, that you're having it where you can be helping more people out at a higher level. So, again, this is, not just necessarily to create more consistency, but it's to create that consistency with a rhythm. So the rhythm I'm going to kind of show you is one that I'm going to call just a simple 30-minute weekly follow-up reset, right? So we all, have it where we start on Monday and we have it where Friday is the day that we're supposed to be done, right? Most, of course, of us are agents who work a lot of the weekends, right? But the whole theory behind this is how do we take what we've done throughout the week, or if you want to do it even shorter, throughout the day, right? And go through and put it down in a way, cap it, show it, so that you can then make sure that you're not missing or dropping anything. And that's, the reality is you should be having a CRM that you're putting notes and that you're staying on top of and having it have to-dos and doing all of that. Consistently wise, I know I've talked with a lot of agents, and you might be like most agents who don't, right? If you do and you do a good job with that, then this might not be for you. But what it goes into is a different method for you to see if there are, 3 to 5 opportunities that you can take from your week and be able to go put back out there into the ecosystem to have in the right spot where you can help those people at that next level. So, right, this is kind of what we're going to go into is this 30-minute weekly follow-up reset. And I want to go through what this all looks like. How do you do it? Because we want to go and we want to know, who needs that extra, conversation? Who needs it? Who's the person that matters right now that had something come up? What's the next useful message that maybe you should be doing on social media and then sharing to somebody who, that would be beneficial for? What's the next follow-up sequence or item that you should be doing for a certain person, right? And then, what happens next? So let's go into this plan. Because what happens is you're running, you're going, you're doing all of these things, you're texting, you're doing all of these, and we want to make sure that we're taking this information to make it where we can get to that next spot. Because if your business is relationship-based, like I imagine you're a lot like me in that way that it's relationship-based, then your follow-up system is, not the admin over here that's helping you out, but it's part of your sales skills. So we need to go through and be thinking of how we can do that. Because a lot of times when you get a lead or when you get a conversation, there's really 2 different kinds of follow-up jobs that you need to be getting really good at. And the one is the hot lead response, right? And the data shows this. If somebody calls you up and needs information and that's why they're reaching out and it's a lead, then speed to lead matters. The data just says it is, and it's true, right? And this is where, that 5-minute rule of making sure you're responding and getting in touch with them in 5 minutes does matter. And then the other kind of follow-up is going to be what that weekly relationship looks like. It's how often are you talking with them? How much are you actually going through that's maybe not urgent today, but needs to be something that happens? Because if you forget about it, then that's where that rhythm gets out of play and people aren't going to be in the right spot. So speed gets you into some conversation, and then that rhythm that you need to get into is what keeps you from losing the rest, right? We've all heard it, right? The whole thing of follow-up is, So we need to make sure that we're following up, being on top of things, having it so that we're not losing that extra amount that is there in the right spot. So, all right, this is kind of what that 30-minute reset looks like. We're gonna go into kind of the math, the process, what that looks like, how long it should be taking you. And if you get a little faster at it even, then of course you're saving more time, right? And where could AI fit into this is going to be that part that I'm going to give you a little bit of nuggets on the way. But the first one is you're going to take it, it's going to be about 5 minutes-ish. You're going to spend about 5, maybe 7 minutes. I want you to go through your text messages and just kind of do a quick scroll, jotting down on a paper, or if you have it on the computer, right? Who are those names of those people that you did talk with, or things that came up that you maybe should make sure that are on your mind, right? And you need to keep them in a spot that they can go in that right spot. You're gonna maybe do a quick scan of emails. That's when I would probably use AI to help you out with, right? If you go in and you use Claude, or if you use ChatGPT and use the one online, connect it to your Gmail, you can say, hey, over this last month, what are and who are the people that I talked with, answered questions, that I should make sure that are on top, they should need to be on top of my mind, that I should be reaching back out to, and just let it go, right? See kind of what comes back. But right, the next one is you're gonna look through your social media. What DMs, what messages came through that are something that you should be aware of? Jot it down, right? This list should be hopefully getting to where you have a few people that are now on your mind. This is where you can also go a little bit more into your CRM. If it was already put in your CRM, then hopefully you have, a to-do already set up for it. If not, then you're gonna kind of go through that, right? Call log, scan through. If you're like me, then sometimes that's a really long list. But go just kind of scan through it and say, all right, who else, do I need to make sure that I'm having a little more of that follow-up with, right? Open house notes, all right? If I had an open house this week or from last, the weekend before I've done this routine, then who are the people that I need to there, right? You're doing this, you're going through these conversations and looking at it to enough to say, hey, this right here is my list. And I want you to look into it all to say, who are those people that I have already had a good conversation with or good communication with, who need a little bit more potentially? And then you can go and sort this. And this is where you can now sort it, and you can say, all right, this person was a hot lead. I need to follow up them with now, right? This person's a warm lead. I could probably do this. This person's a past client. This person, so on and so forth. What is that list? And you're going to help kind of make sure that you're sorting it to getting it where, you now know what's going on. This is going to take those next few minutes. It's going to be pretty quick. You're going to get it where you kind of now know what that looks like and how you can best help them out. And it's going to help you to kind of get that rhythm of what do you need to do next. The next piece is you're going to prioritize, right? By looking at what category they go into, right? The next thing that's easiest is prioritizing. And it's, all right, what is their timing? What would be the most helpful thing to build trust? Because people like to work with people that they know, like, and trust, right? So how do we find and get more in that spot with them? The next one would be, is there an appointment that could be out of this, that if we reach out and do this? Is there something that we need to review to be able to help it even more? Is there something that I need to do to make even a better client experience, right? What are those things to help me prioritize who am I talking with? And then, is the next step clear enough for me to do, today before I end, or for me to put on my schedule for next week, right? This gives you that opportunity to kind of figure it out. And the great part is after I have that information of what it is, some little notes about what it could be, then the cool part is either A, I can start going to work and I can now reach out to those 3 to 5 more people, those opportunities that might have been missed because I didn't have that chance to go through with all the noise, with all the things going on. that happened that got in the way, right? It could also be the time that I now use AI to help me draft some different things, right? It could be that in there was something that came up that was a great question, that it was like, hey, I can now actually do a social media piece of content to answer that question and share it with them. It could be that, hey, and of course I would use AI to help you draft it. What's your hook? What is the information you're gonna get? How are you gonna answer that question and really help people understand what that more would look like? That will help a lot of your GEO and AEO as well, which is awesome. So that's gonna be a good thing for you to do there, right? Or it could be that, hey, like this person actually needs me to dig a little more into this information. What other draft could you do? And then that last little bit, right, of the 30-minute time block, that 30-minute reset of your follow-up, getting into the right spot, that's where you're gonna commit, and you're gonna either put it where you need another time to go do it, or you're able to kind of pound that out and get those done for those last few minutes, just to really make that happen. A lot of times when I've done this in business and reviewing things and seeing where I'm at, I've found a lot of good opportunities also just to tell people how grateful I am for them. It's a good opportunity to really just make sure you're on top of things, building, strengthening those relationships, and having it so that you can, as a business owner, be able to work through the noise of what happened that week by having a dedicated time to actually review how you can best help. Right? And the goal of this is not to say, hey, great, I'm going to have a perfect database. Like, I think, of course, that's a great goal to strive for. I think that your CRM is gold, right? That right there is going to be what you can do to help build those relationships and have it so you can be set up so well. And I know a lot of you are so entrepreneurial that sometimes things get missed. Sometimes, right? So, the goal of this is really just have that time to find 3 to 5 people that you can have now those real touches with that might have, not happened otherwise. And that's going to be that difference that kind of helps you continue to compound and build from this. Because we want to be here, we want to be more human and be with the people that we want to be with. And that's why it's like, AI fits really well in this in some ways, right? Because AI can help you turn a lot of these notes into better follow-up. It can help you with messages that maybe you wanted to do, right? It can help it where, a lot of it's like, hey, this message that I'm trying to write up, what are 3 different ways that I can write it up? And then you can kind of help yourself pick and choose to get that message across better, right? It can then make it so that you're really turning one of those real questions into some more content, like I mentioned. And this is going to help it where you can identify who has the clearest next step and how can you help them get to that next part, right? This isn't necessarily like, I don't say go use AI to then go build and make promises and, conquer the world for you, right? You need to have it be where you're in that right relationship spot. And AI is a massive tool to help you get there cleaner, more effectively, more efficiently, and show up the way that you want to show up, right? So that's going to be like, how can I use AI to get better preparation to be, making me more human on the touches that I do, right? And that's the thing is, because if I go back to some different places that you meet people, right? You're going to meet people at open houses where someone asks you about a payment or about the school boundaries and kind of that. And it can give you some more follow-up angles so that you can actually go do those things, right? It could be a past client and you want to use AI to even make a watercolor picture of their house and send it to them as like hey, it's been 2 years, congratulations, and have it so that they can now look at that house. And they live in it, so I think they know what it looks like. But how can they now, you can just create different ways to make sure you're continuing to strengthen that warm relationship and show them how much you care, right? There's so many different ways that you can do this. And that's where it's like, how do you continue to do that, work on that with AI in that way to help you really be in that spot? And the cool part is a lot of the times a good brokerage can help you use AI at a higher level because it's crazy. A lot of brokers are using AI now, but it's how can you use that AI to help you with your systems to get that much more follow-up done at a high level and keep you in a human position. But yeah, like I kind of been talking about, use this 30-minute weekly rhythm for your follow-up. Deep dive into it, see how it can best help you out. Have it where it's on your schedule, you time block it. Pick those 3 to 5 people that will really kind of help you in that next spot, because this simple weekly rhythm is going to help you not only to be in the right spot more often, but it's going to also help you to be where you're wanting to be for those people, right? And this is not complicated. But the cool thing is if you do this every single week, it compounds. Those extra few people that you needed to have that better conversation with, those few people that you helped and gave more value to, it's going to compound and change your business in so many ways. So, start this Friday. I mean it, start this Friday. Put 30 minutes on, go put it on your calendar, and then pick, those 5 names. Those 5 names, send them useful things, useful touches before the weekend. Give them that extra more love, support, help, appreciation. Put it out to the world and see what comes back to you. So appreciate you guys. Like and comment, follow. Always want to continue to give you more tools, resources to help you on your journey.